Joining us now, Texans radio head coach Lovie Smith. Coach, great to see you. Short week. How do you get through reviewing what you saw on Sunday, trying to make some corrections, and then getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles, who are different yet very talented?
That's what we do, Mark. I mean, there's some things we need to correct from yesterday's game, but we knew this Thursday game was coming, so we had a preliminary report, game plan set up. You transition quickly. You know, if we had won the game yesterday, it would have been the same situation. Mm-hmm. You transition, in our case, to the Eagles right away. Best team in football right now. That in itself is a challenge.
Coach, night game, best team in the league coming in here. I mean, if you're not going to show up and show out for that, I don't know when you're going to. But how much does that matter to – I know in the NFL everybody gets paid, I get all that, everybody's on scholarship. But how much does it matter you're playing the best team on a night game when everybody across the nation can see you?
I think that matters an awful lot. You know, back in the day when there was one national game, Monday Night Football,
yep.
You know, everybody's watching it, and it was special. That normally brought out the best in us as coaches and as players. And now the Thursday night game is big. We'll have the national audience playing against the best team. And when you're coming off of a disappointing loss, too, an opportunity to get that back quicker than normal.
Coach, later in the game, you made some stops against the ground game for the Titans. Is that something that you can take with you moving forward? I know the Eagles attack you differently with the running game, but can you discuss that a little bit with us?
Yeah, it is a different running attack that we'll see this week. But we did. I mean, the guys hung in there. We didn't play our best ball throughout, but I thought at the end – we were playing to run a lot better against, arguably the best back in football. We hope that's the case, that there were some good things that came from that game. We want to take those absolutely into this game.
Coach, as you face Philadelphia, a little complicated. Titans didn't run Malik Willis as I thought they would. I thought they would run him a little bit more, but I guess they didn't really feel like they needed to with the two backs doing what they do. But Jalen's going to carry the football. They're going to do some different things offensively. You face some of this RPO kind of college offense stuff when you were coaching in Illinois. How much do you sort of take that into this game going against an offense that is going to run some of that zone read, RPO, some of the things that you saw in college?
I think you rely on past experiences with who you're getting ready to play. So we absolutely will. You're right. A lot of the things that they're doing, a lot of other concepts, but college concepts are becoming more and more part of our game in the NFL. And especially when you have the personnel to do it.
Yep.
And, Jalen Hurts was a heck of a player, of course, in college, running a similar offense. It's an easy transition to do that, and it causes problems as much as anything. I think he does a good job, too, of protecting himself, too. He had been exposed to a lot of hard hits or anything like that, but it opens up in a lot more things that we have to defend, yes.
Coach, you brought up Jalen Hurts in your press conference. Is he a good example of a player that shows you sometimes you need patience with a player, let him develop over time, because a lot of people from the outside looking into the organization were kind of giving up on him maybe after year one or parts of year two, but here he is in year three, and they are where they are.
Yeah, I think when an athlete checks off as many boxes as Jalen does, and just young quarterback in general, you have to let them play. Guys need a little bit of time. It's kind of simple as that, especially at the quarterback position. But now we have a perfect example of being patient with someone, and sooner than later he's turned into one of the best quarterbacks in football, and causes a lot of problems with what he can do. And we're talking a lot about him because there's a lot of guys that can throw the ball, but what he can do running the football, but that combination, I think he's throwing the ball right now as well as he is with what he's doing running.
Pride of Channelview.
Mm-hmm.
Greater Houston area, those Texans do very, very well in the NFL. At that point, Coach, let's flip it over to the other side of the ball with this defense. It's a really interesting group in how the Eagles kind of put all those pieces together on defense. Now, the big fella sounds like he's not going to be in this game with Jordan Davis out dealing with an injury, but I don't think it slows that machine down. But on the defensive side, what do you see from the Eagles?
I see an athletic front, kind of based out of a four-man front. I see an athletic front. I mentioned Fletcher Cox been a good football player for a long period of time. Good interior guys, good outside guys. solid linebackers. And Darius Slay, one of the best corners in football. They play hard. And just look at their numbers. I mean, again, they're leading the league in takeaways, do an outstanding job.
Coach, against the Titans, why was it so difficult to move the football? What can you tell us about that, what you were able to find out on film and try to correct it moving forward into the Philadelphia game Thursday night?
Well, I mean, that's what we're kind of working on right now. I think whenever you can't move the ball, I mean, it starts up front. You know, when you can't get movement up front on either side of the football. Reason why they had success, it started with what they were able to do up front against our defensive line and what their defensive front was able to do against us, especially from guard to guard, makes it hard to run the football, pass the football. And later on, I don't know if we really figured out an entire game. And it's not necessarily figuring it out. I mean, sometimes when they're better than you, it's tough duty. Coach,
somebody mentioned in your press conference, maybe Brooks, had asked you, you have 8 rookies playing, and I did the math. I was like, wait, eight guys started yesterday. 8 rookies started. And obviously getting experience is, I mean, it just kind of goes like each and every game. You learn a little something. But with that group of 8 that's getting that sort of experience, are you seeing it sort of manifest itself in the way that they're playing and how they're playing? I mean, obviously Sting and Jalen, Damian, those guys have been out there from the jump seemingly. What have you seen from that group of rookies that experience is helping them get through these games and get better each time they go out there?
That's what we've seen. You know, John, the guys are getting better. But, you know, nobody wants to hear about guys just getting better. They want to see the production. And they have played a lot of football. And you just talk on the offensive side of the football. It's valuable reps. If we talk about, you know, Mark, about up front, you know, from Kenyon and to play 2 outs, you know, very good players inside. That will help. That's helping his game. What Damon has done throughout. You know, on the defensive side, you know, we played maybe a couple guys that we would like to have. You know, we'd like for them to watch a little bit longer. But sometimes the injuries, you know, force you to play a little bit earlier. But these are all talented guys that are going to get better and better, and that's why it's good to see. You know, some players, younger players, and I keep going back to Jalen Hurts. I mean, I've heard all the things that were said about him, but he's gotten better and better each game, and that's what our guys is doing.
Coach, I was going to ask you what's more important on a short week, the physical recovery or the mental recovery and turning the page, but I got a feeling the answer is yes, they're both equally important. So let's talk about the physical part of it first. How do you go about physically moving through what you're going through after a game and then getting ready to be as fresh as possible for primetime Thursday?
I think the middle part, you just have to click your mind, hey, got a short game coming up, but your body is a little bit different. And, again, when you know that it's coming up, we started planning really before last week, about we knew how many games we were going to play in a short period of time, and we started adjusting our schedule that way then last week. But it's pretty simple. You have to let the body recover. So this week it's a mental week is what it is, a mental 3 days, whatever you want to say. We're going to have, for the most part, have walkthroughs, a lot of meetings, and then play ball.
Coach, how important in some sense, coming off 4 to 5 trips on the road, that this Thursday night game ends up being at home as opposed to having to turn around and travel on a Wednesday and play on a Thursday?
Well, if there's an advantage that we have, it is that, because no matter how you look at it, you know, it's a short period of time. So just think about having to leave.
Yeah.
You know,
it takes a while. Yeah.
You know, back to on how you get ready physically. We normally start practicing on a Wednesday. On a typical week, Wednesday is the first time we start doing something really physical. So things have moved up an awful lot.
Coach,
but to have to actually travel along with that really would make it a lot worse.
Yeah.
More and more teams seem to be running more and more. I think it's a trend in the NFL. I don't have the stats in front of me, but there's an emphasis, or a re-emphasis rather, on the ground game. Is that because linebackers are smaller, or teams are used to playing the pass and playing a lot of nickel and dime and things like that? What do you attribute that to, and do you feel like that's true in general?
No, I think, Mark, teams have always, I just don't think it was the popular thing to talk about running the football. People want to talk about, hey, how many passing yards you have? Pass. But I think most guys will tell you it's always about having balance. You need to be able to do both, and that's definitely the case now, and I think it's always been that way.
Coach, with Jalen Hurts, a few of the things that we've seen from Philly, he's now in his third year there. It feels like he is reached up and grabbed the leadership baton, if you will, and taken it. He's the guy they all look at in that locker room. How long does it take for a young player to sort of find that leadership baton for himself? With, like we talked about, the 8 rookies that you have, how long does it take for a group like that or young players from that group to kind of step up and say, hey, follow me. I know that I have to now be a leader on this team, even though I haven't even been here a full year. How long does that sort of take for young players to kind of reach up and become the leader, stand up in front of a group of men and be like, hey, follow me. I'm the guy that we need to follow. Let's get this thing done.
Well, I think it's hard to say exactly how long it takes different times for people, but I don't think the guys are really looking for you to say, hey, come follow me. What they're doing, they're watching you.
Right.
If you start playing good football at your position, they'll start following you. I think it's as simple as that. And if you're a quarterback, it's everything always starts with him. They see that you're doing everything you're supposed to do on and off the football field. Guys will follow. I've been places where there's young leaders and players, of course, that have been around quite a while. I don't know if there's one blueprint for it.
So practice this week, very intense, full pads, 3 days. No, just kidding, Coach. More of the walkthrough type of variety, but you're going to rev it up a little bit. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I just said, we're going to rev it up a little bit, but as I was saying, Wednesdays the body needs about 72 hours to recover. So we're gonna and really didn't help us to have a late game too. Each one of these hours kind of affects the body a little bit. But once you get going in the season like this, and we knew every team knows that one time during the week you're going to be stressed. Your body's going to be stressed a little bit. We're going to give you a little bit of time after that, a longer period of time after that. That won't be the reason why, we don't have some unsuccessful plays and they're dealing with the same thing except for they have to travel.
Coach, we always worry about you. How about you? You're going to get some rest, a little bit of rest this week. Is it imperative that you and your staff get a little bit of rest so they're fresh on Thursday night?
Yeah, do the coaches get to sleep sometimes?
Yeah. We'll have, just like the players. I mean, we know that this week was coming up. Yeah, we started the game plan, moving on to them a little bit quicker, but we're going to get a little bit more rest on the other side, just like the players. Right now, full speed ahead.
All right, the Battle Red helmet, we had it at practice that first Saturday of camp. We saw it in the offseason, and you have seen it on the players, but now you see it on the players Thursday night. I know a uniform change, maybe that doesn't carry you through the whole game, but it's got to add a little bit more juice to the whole equation, right?
Yeah, young people in general, I mean, they like to, feel good, look good, So I know I've seen it. I love it too. I'm an older person, and I love the helmets, love the new uniform. But I think it does give you something that's different. And sometimes you need something different that may spark something.
Okay, Coach, I've been dying to ask this because I know growing up, and I'm a little younger than you are, little bit. When you put on one helmet, it would take forever for that helmet, like a baseball glove. When you get the baseball glove, it takes a while for that thing to break it in. Same thing with a helmet. Now we got teams changing helmets all over the place. Is the helmet technology that much better? Because I can't imagine wearing more than one helmet, the one helmet that I got at the beginning of the season, to have to wear that through a full season.
Well, I know the technology in general with everything has gotten so much better. So I assume we're going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, we joke with Andre Ware because in 1989 when he won the Heisman, his shoulder pads were like coffee tables. They were huge, right? And now you see the shoulder pads of the quarterbacks, they get smaller and smaller. And he said, you know what? I never had a shoulder injury, so how about that? So don't make fun of my shoulder pads. But that speaks to some of the changes we've seen over the years because you see older pictures and guys look like they're dressed in, full armor.
Yeah, and you can say that about a lot of different things. Some of the things that the guys wear underneath their pads and all, whether some keep you cooler, sweat less. Modern technology has changed our game so much. And then back to the helmets, they're just so much safe. Everything is so much safer. As safe as you can, I feel like, as you can really have an athlete in a contact sport, I feel like the latest and greatest is what they're dealing with.
Okay, what one piece of technology or what one piece of clothing or one thing that you would have rather have had when you were a player that you didn't have, that you see guys with now that you'd rather have had as a player? I know mine would have been the sweat wicking gear, because you get that thick T-shirt on the Texas heat in August, forget it. It's brutal.
Yeah, there's a few things. I think, if I was a receiver, I'd say, the glove, the modern gloves of today.
Yeah.
Used to you kind of caught the ball with your hand.
Yeah.
Nowadays, some of these gloves you have, you just kind of get it in the spot, it kind of sticks to you a little bit. But everything has changed for the better.
All right, Coach, one more for you. The Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week. It is Halloween. I know you probably haven't noticed, but it's Halloween. So Halloween, favorite candy, favorite thing to get or give out or whatever, and any memories you might have.
A lot of memories, and my memories right now kind of go to, I have a lot of grandkids, and I've already started getting their costume pictures coming in. That's a lot of fun, just kind of watching that. I won't be trick-or-treating with anybody tonight, but favorite candy, that's easy. I love chocolate any time of the year. Don't need Halloween for that, but that's definitely the case.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck Thursday.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.